The prophet stood on his porch, taking in the landscape. The soft earth was shooting up green everywhere he looked. Purple blossoms furred the red buds along his driveway. Here and there beneath them were sprays of yellow forsythia. Soon the cherries would be out. At the far edge of his field, a high-up breeze swayed the tips of the Georgia pines. Above them, the sky was cloudless, with a pale three-quarter moon like a shell beneath water. A fine afternoon. He would drive down to the junkyard to look for the saw blade he needed to finish his Ezekiel machine. The machine was a working model of the spinning wheels he'd been carrying around inside his head as long as he could remember. They were glow-in-the-dark green and overlapped like the Olympic symbol, but instead of 5, there were 12. Whenever he closed his eyes, he could see them there, spiraling like gears at the center of his forehead. For a long time, he didn't know what they meant. But after Zeke left, the prophet got back to reading the Bible. He skipped most of the books in the front and only skimmed the Psalms and Proverbs, but the big-time prophets got him excited. Here was God, sitting above the circle of the earth, with people hopping around beneath him like grasshoppers. Here were men looking at each other with their faces on fire, Jerusalem a woman in dirty skirts. In Ezekiel, he read about the interlocking wheels with rims of eyeballs, and how the wheels followed after 4 creatures, man, lion, ox, and eagle. How it was the spirits of those creatures that made the wheels move. What he'd been seeing all these years was the Holy Spirit. The way the wheels behaved was a kind of checks and balances system by which he could tell if the Spirit was pleased. If the wheels were bright and moving toward him, it meant a vision would be coming on soon, and he was God's chosen instrument to receive it. If he saw only a smear of light, or worst of all, darkness, he would lie on his belly and beg. "Lord, Lord," he'd say, "don't leave me to myself. Don't do me like Saul and depart." In this way, he learned how hard you had to work to keep the Spirit happy. He got in his van and drove out to the highway, crossing the border from Alabama into Georgia and taking Nickajack Road to the base of the mountain. It was warmer down here, the dogwoods with their little white plates already laid out on branches. At the junkyard in Flintstone, he pulled through the open gate and parked beside the abandoned office. There was a truck door he'd found last time, propped where he'd left it. The door had a picture of a bucket dumping red paint onto the globe, with "Cover the Earth" stenciled in white letters. He wished he felt good enough to lift it into his van.